All right, let's just get right into it. So on a previous episode, for those of you that tuned in, we had a segment where we talked about the 1 year anniversary of the Knicks and Raptors trade, who won that trade, and basically the focus was, who would you rather be, 5 years from now? Would you rather be New York? Would you rather be Toronto? And we struck a nerve, I guess you could say, with some of the things we said on that topic. We heard the listeners, we heard the viewers. Y'all left your comments, which we appreciate, and a lot of y'all disagreed with us, and which is fair. But let's just get right into it. Like, for example, we were looking at some of the comments, just to give you an idea here. Shamari Leary 778 just earlier today says I find it interesting coming from Raptors fans saying Knicks can't win a chip when no one thought they would win theirs. And to cope off that thought, to say the Raptors are in a better position right now is comical. Never said that. We never said the Raptors are in a better position right now. That's number one. Number two, he said the Knicks win damn near 70% of the games OG plays in, and Precious has been great off the bench and spot starting. RJ wasn't a good fit in New York, and we're happy to see him shine, even though y'all doing a lot of losing. Y'all wilded. So, look, we never said the Raptors are in a better position right now. We literally said 5 years from now, who would you rather be, right? And we gave our reasons for that. But anyway, in response to that comment, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I did go on record. I was the only one who gave the Knicks a compliment. So all you New Yorkers out there who are making comments, you could thank me. I clearly said the Knicks are in a better position right now. But to dive into it a bit more, that comment isn't that crazy. I mean, he does have a point. He or she, rather, does have a point, because the Knicks are playing great basketball right now. Currently winners of 9 in a row. I made some comments earlier about Cat, and I may even have to take that back because he's honestly impressing me. He's playing a brand of basketball that I didn't think he could play. He's playing inside out, something which he didn't really do before. So, the Knicks, they are contenders. I'm not saying they can make it out of the East, but if you look at it, if you look at Boston, you look at Cleveland, New York is right up there. So it's not far-fetched to think that, people think this team can't do much, but they're kind of right. I mean, as Raptor fans, we knew we were capable of the championship year. But let's face it, outside of Canada, no one believed that we can do what we can do. So I kind of see,
they don't pay attention to the Raptors, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I can kind of see it, especially since the Knicks have been struggling for so long. I could kind of see how diehard Knicks fans could feel like, you know what, you guys are really doubting us.
Well, I think, like you said, the comment isn't crazy. He started off a little bit crazy because, nobody thought the Raptors could win a chip, and I don't know how that relates to whether we feel that Knicks can win a chip or that's neither there or there. Like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. But the Knicks are good. They're a good team. They've been playing very well. 9 straight. You can't sneeze at 9 straight. Although I do have to mention, I think more than half, or at least half, was against the Wizards, the Pelicans, and my dear Raptors. So, they're winning games. But, I mean, they did have a good win on Christmas against Wemby. That was a really good win. I give it up for that. I know Brunson went for 55 against the Wizards. That was a good moment. And Cat's been balling. So I would say, the Knicks are a good team. They can't possibly win the championship. Yes. Although I would not put them ahead of Boston. I would not put them ahead of Cleveland. I think I don't know about Milwaukee. I would maybe put the Knicks ahead of Milwaukee, but would it shock me if Milwaukee beat them in the playoff series? It wouldn't. Philadelphia, if Embiid could ever get healthy. I mean, we saw what Embiid came back and they beat Boston on Christmas Day. So if Philadelphia can ever get a consistent amount of games with Embiid, who knows what they can do. So the Knicks are right in the mix, right? They're a good team. They're one of the good teams. But the point is, we weren't saying the Knicks weren't a good team. We were trying to say that when the trade was made for what the goals are for both teams, right? The Knicks want to win a championship. The Knicks are where the Raptors were when we had DeMar and we had Kyle Lowry, and we kept hitting our head, and we couldn't get over the hump, right? So to come in and just conference final, or second round, it was like, it wasn't good enough at some point. And the Knicks, this is where they're at. When you make a trade for Towns, which they won that trade by far. They might not have won the Raptor trade, but they definitely won that trade. And you're going for the championship. You're going for a win. So if you don't at least get to the finals, I would say win a championship, but at least get to the finals, then did you succeed or did you fail? You probably failed. I'd say you failed, right? Where for us, OG on this team, I said it before, wouldn't do what we need this team to do. We need this team not to win. We need to start all over again. So to get rid of OG, you got rid of Pascal earlier, bring in RJ, who's been balling, best season of his career. Barnes has been injured, but we know he's been an all-star. Quickly comes back the other night, dropped 15 assists. 15 assists? Like, has Brunson ever gotten 15 assists? Maybe he has. I could be wrong. But 15 assists? Like, I'm not saying he's a better player than Brunson. I'm just saying he's better for us. It's what we need. And if we continue to lose, knock on wood, and end up getting a top 3, top 5 pick, then in the end, we will be farther ahead than if the Knicks get to the second round and lose, or get to the conference finals and lose. That was what we were trying to say.
Right. And so I want to just read out one more comment, because I think this guy really more so understood what we were getting at. Cash Money 7421. He said, I think it's one of those trades that worked out for both parties considering their goals. OG and Precious makes more sense for us as a Knicks fan than RJ and Quickly. And OG doesn't hold nearly the value on the Raptors. The Raptors needed to get worse while having some prospects. They got what they wanted, and so did we. Exactly. See, Cash Money is right on the money. Right? Pun intended. We understood what it was that we were getting at. Like, the Raptors are in a different phase, right? And then the Knicks are in a different phase. But the way I look at it is like, okay, if the Knicks' goal obviously is to win a championship, they're all in, trading for Cat. And I don't want to come across as a Knicks hater, right? Because I'm not hating on the Knicks. I'm just looking at it from my perspective as being a Raptors fan, how I see things, right? So I'm going to give the Knicks front office credit. Signing Jalen Brunson a couple summers ago was an amazing signing, right? It's worked out way better than most people expected, right? I mean, people didn't really think Jalen Brunson was going to be this good, right? So that signing, home run, right? And then you trade for Towns. Clearly, like Emmanuel just said, they've won that trade. So they're all in, and I respect it. They're all in. They have a solid team. Josh Hart, OG, bringing in Bridges. They got a very good team. But if we were to pose the question like this, the goal for the Knicks is to win a championship. And the goal for the Raptors is to be in the best position possible to get the highest pick in the draft. Who's closer to their goals right now? Right? Who has a better chance? Do the Knicks have a better chance of winning the championship, or do the Raptors have a better chance of actually getting that top pick? The Raptors are closer to their goal right now than the Knicks are, is what my point is. Now, if you want to call that bias, maybe it is
crazy,
bias,
but you say you're not a hater, but I'm feeling a lot of hate. And this is coming from a real Raptor. I mean, look at my hat. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the Raptors championship hat. There's no bigger Raptors fan than me. But at the end of the day, if the roles were reversed and we were the Knicks, let's say that was our team, I'm sure you'd have quite a different opinion. At the end of the day, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see where we're going to be 5 years from now. At the end of the day, if you get a top 5 pick, there's never a guarantee. Let's say Cooper Flagg's number 1. Cooper Flagg may not even be the best player in the draft. You know, they have Dylan Harper could be a better player. VJ Edgecombe could be a better player. Ace Bailey could be a better player. There's never a guarantee in the draft. You have to factor in something else. The Raptors, the young guys on the Raptors, all they know is losing. We only have one guy left, and that's Boucher from the championship team. So these guys don't know winning basketball. So when you bring a rookie in with a team that doesn't play winning basketball, it's not a guarantee that you're just going to magically have winning basketball. I think what the Knicks fans are saying is like, listen, you guys made a decent trade, but you don't know what you're going to be like in the future. There are no guarantees. They could say to themselves, listen, we can look on paper and we are guaranteed to be competitors this year. We're guaranteed to be competitors next year. And honestly, within those 5 years, the Knicks are guaranteed to be competitors within 5 years. They still have a young core. So that's why they're saying, hey, you know what? Those guys aren't old. They're in their 20s.
About 5 years. I don't know about 5 years. 5 years, they ain't going to be competitors in 5 years. They're a competitor right now, maybe next year as well. But after that, Brunson, the way he plays, his style, they ain't going to hold up for 5 years. OG isn't going to hold up for 5 years. I'm sorry, Knicks fans, to tell you. We've had him. OG ain't going to hold it. Anybody ain't going to hold up for 5 years. Like, our guys are going up. We don't know where their guys are going to be. But I get your point and saying that, like, it's the unknown and we don't know, what we're going to get. Right. But I think it comes back again to matter of perspective and where, as a Raptor fan, where I see the state of the Raptor franchise today versus if you're a Knicks fan, where you see the state of the Knicks franchise. Right. Like, you're wearing the hat. We won a championship like 5 years ago. Like, I'm old enough to remember when we won a championship. Like, the Knicks, I would say most of them not old enough to remember when they won the championship. Like, it's been a very long time for the Knicks. So Raptor fans are in a position where we overcame the odds. Like, we're in Canada, we're in another country. Like, they put rules in to prevent us from getting the top pick year after year, 2 years, in order to keep us down. So many players didn't want to come here. The ones that were here early on to get me the hell out of here. Ones who got traded here, like Alonzo Mourning said, I don't want to come. Kendall Gill, I don't want to come. Like Tracy McGrady said, trade me. Damon said, trade. Like, we know the history, right? And to overcome all of that and still win a championship, while the Knicks, largest market, all the money, the Mecca, players, everybody wants to play there. That's what I've been told my whole life, New York, New York, New York. And you can't win. And we can come in there and we can win just like that. So we're in a position where we're like, you know what? We're good. We won 5 years ago. Nobody thought we could win. So we're willing to wait for these young players to build and develop and come up, right? So if you say, maybe we get the top pick. If we get the top pick, we good because this is a good draft. If we get the 4th, 5th pick, 3rd pick, based on what you just said, that it could be Bailey, it could be Harper, it could be Flag. Like, you just named a whole bunch of players. You named just one. So that bodes well for the Raptors if we don't get the number 1 pick, if we get the top 5. So in a year where the draft is rich in terms of talent and depth, like, this is the year to suck. And we suck. So I feel like we are in a better position, like Vincent said, closer to what we ultimately want as Raptor fans. Knicks fans want a championship. They don't want to lose. They've been losing a long time. I get it. Like, they want a championship. They need a championship. And I'm not a Knicks hater. Like, Knicks Boston, I don't care about Boston. Like, I'm not cheering for Boston. Like, I wouldn't cheer for Cleveland. Like, I really don't care.
Don't get the Celtics fans upset now.
Hey, Celtics. But hey, I don't like Celtics fans. I mean, sorry. I don't like the Celtics as a team. They're just whatever, right? But
right.
I don't have a preference between Knicks, Celtics, Sixers. Like, it doesn't. I like Giannis. I like the Bucks. Milwaukee fans, I like the Bucks. But other than that, it doesn't matter. So we're just giving our opinion on what we feel based on our experience as fans.
Yeah, and just one other thing I would say about the 5-year thing, like to Justin saying, the Knicks probably would still be contenders in 5 years. So I would say we got to remember 5 years is a long time, right? Like, when Kawhi left the Raptors, everybody thought the Clippers were going to be the next big thing. And 5 years, here we are 5 years later, where are the Clippers now? right? Kawhi doesn't, he barely plays. PG is no longer there. Doc Rivers is no longer there. Their best player now is an old James Harden, right? And Norm Powell is like their second best player right now. A lot of things can change in 5 years. So this Knicks team is built to win now. They're not built to win 5 years from now. So I would give them this year, next year, and possibly the year after that. But they're going to have to make changes if they want to still be contenders in 5 years, right? So that's basically my point. And I'm not trying to say that this current Raptors squad, because you made a good point that all these young guys on the team right now, all they know is losing, which is correct. But as we know, the way it goes in the NBA when you're trying to win a championship, changes are going to be made, right? It's not going to be this exact same roster. We're talking about the core. So the core of these young guys, your Quickleys, your Barnes, whoever we end up drafting this coming summer, Grady Dick, you know, that core, would you rather have them 5 years from now, or would you rather have Towns, who's 5 years older, Brunson, who's 5 years older, OG, who's 5 years old? Like, I mean, to me, it's obvious, but again, they want to say I'm biased. They want right. They want to say we're smoking the good stuff up here in Canada. Okay, I get it. All right, but that's just my view. That's how I see it. We can agree to disagree, but yeah. Have any final topics on that before we move to the next thing?
The only other thing I'd say, Raptors, I think Darko's going to go. I think Darko has to go. To Justin's point of all they know is losing. I think the culture ultimately would have to change when we start progressing upward and want to become who we want to become as a new generation Raptors team. So I do think that like if we get a new pick in here, I think it is a lot of losing. And recently, the most concerning thing has been the type of losing. The large 50-point losses, giving up 150 points to Memphis. I mean, that's just bad. And I just think the culture would have to change. May have to start with the coach. That's the only thing on that standpoint. And Knicks, one thing, like I said, I did make a little not joke about who they played, but Friday night they play OKC. OKC, I think, has won 12 in a row. Knicks have won 9 in a row. So let's see. Right?
That'll be
let's
a good
see.
test. Exactly.
Let's see what you got, Knicks.
That'll be a good test. Going up against OKC, is that game in New York or in OKC?
I believe it's on the road. Yeah, I believe it's in OKC. I think they're on the road trip, but I don't know for sure. But whoever, let's see what you got.
That'll be a good test.